Hello there ladies and gentlemen, it's Alexander Hilly123 here and it's time for a new video. And as you can see from the title, it's time for a new gaming pickups video today, the first in just over 4 months on the channel. And if you never watched one of these scintillating, exciting videos before, then let me tell you, the rules are that I have to showcase the last 5 games that I purchased, either digital or physical, whatever console they may be on, old or new, and talk about them. If they're physical, I used to show you guys the actual physical copy, but now I'll be showing you a little video instead. Just about 15-20 seconds or so, just something new that I'm trialing. Tell me what you think. Just in case someone has never seen a certain game that I talk about before, they can have a look at what it actually looks like and then perhaps search it out for themselves. Just something I thought of doing, ladies and gentlemen. Putting a little bit of effort in 2024. Well, it's more than these gaming companies are doing. We've got 6 to showcase today. And 4 are on the Xbox, 2 are on the PlayStation, 1 natively was an Xbox One game that released, 1 game was a PS4 game on release. Now let's get straight into it. I want this to be less than 30 minutes long, it doesn't need to be longer. The first game that I purchased, I can barely believe I'm saying this, I never thought this franchise would come to one of my pickups videos. I've been doing these pickup videos, I think I started in like 2012. And funnily enough, the last FIFA football game that I purchased was in 2012. Actually, it wasn't. It was FIFA 12, which would have been released in 2011, but I digress. Yeah, it's FIFA 15 is the version that I purchased. And obviously, it's 9-10 years of age. Why on earth did I buy it? Well, because I had a hankering to play an old classic football game with good reviews. And you know what it's like, you check online and people are saying, well, I prefer FIFA 16, FIFA 17, FIFA 15, 14. I just went along the general consensus and chose FIFA 15. Quite simply, ladies and gentlemen, the last football game, not just FIFA games that I bought, was Pro Evolution Soccer 2016, of course released in late 2015. And quite simply, I just wanted to rekindle some of that love I had for football with these old games and how fun they were gameplay wise. Now, if you're asking the question, why didn't I buy many Pro Evolution Soccer games in the 360, Xbox One era and in this era, it's because they are shit. Konami as a company, as we know, are shit. And EA are a disgrace. It's not even called FIFA anymore. Got rid of and just said, fuck the actual body that governs football. We're going to go on our own and call it our own thing. EA FC, stupidest name ever. Yet who cares? It doesn't it doesn't matter, does it? Because it can't fail. Because it's just a money-making machine. And that's when EA started to go downhill with FIFA, when they started to monetize the shit out of literally everything. I remember playing FIFA 9, 10 and 11, and that's when FIFA was at its best, in my opinion. Never as good as the old Pro Evolution Soccer games, in my opinion, but it was still pretty fun. But I'm not going to go into depth with FIFA 15, the gameplay and the experience that I had. I didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to. Cinematically, don't forget I've not played a FIFA game since FIFA 12. So, and that was on the 360. This is the PS4. The game looked phenomenal. I thought, bloody hell. And I've checked YouTube comments out and online, and yeah, guess what? Most people think that it looks and plays better, FIFA 15, than EA FC 24. It's insane, man. I can say it's ridiculous and unexpected and unanticipated, but it's actually not, because we're aware of what this fucking games industry is about these days. And now there's just such a monopoly that they have, that there's no other contenders, and there's less sports games made than ever. I remember liking some certain cricket, tennis, and remember the old track and field games back in the day, mashing the buttons like a maniac. Absolutely love that shit. And those kind of games come round every so often. Snooker as well, and many others of course, but they're just not as many of them, and it just outright sucks. But you know, football, the best sport in the world, and I tried to get back the feeling I had, the fun that I had with those old PS2 Pro Evolution Soccer games specifically, but FIFA couldn't do that. It's not a bad game, but it was either too easy or too hard based on the difficulty I played, and then I just sacked it off after like 2 or 3 weeks. And the next game, ladies and gentlemen, I also played for 2 or 3 weeks. I'm a little bit ashamed of this. It is a game called Stumble Guys. But I did it all for the achievements. Indeed I did. Stumble Guys, if you don't know, is a complete and utter rip-off of Fall Guys, and according to Google, because there isn't a Wikipedia page for this game, It was released only a good 4 or 5 months after Fall Guys, but I think it was in beta for quite a long time and actually released, I think, in 2022. 18 to 24 months later. But the thing is with Stumble Guys, it's like Fall Guys without the fun. The games are either exactly the same or more simplistic, and I have an inkling that a lot of the games are filled with bots, because I was winning all the games, and I was just, after a week or so, I was just playing purely for the achievements. I think I've got every single achievement bar one, which I can't remember what it was, but actually it might well be a couple, if not one, like 2 or 3. You can't play party games like you can on Fall Guys and Stumble Guys. If you're solo, they won't let you. You can just play alone and with no one else. But with Fall Guys, you can just play with people you don't know, and that's what I did. And when Fall Guys came out, it was after The Last of Us Part 2 came out. It was in COVID lockdown, and it was just a game inspired by classic Takeshi's Castle, and It's a Knockout. I absolutely loved those programs when I was a kid. So I had fun on it. But with Stumble Guys, after a week, it was like, yeah, this is just for the achievements. I'm a bit ashamed, but you know what? I was playing the game whilst listening to music, and sometimes, once in a blue moon, I like just chilling. Got my Spotify on, listening to music, and just playing a game and just relaxing. I did that with Angry Birds many years ago, and once a year or so, I'll find a particular game. They have a little bit of session on for a few weeks, and yeah, just listen to music, play games. But Stumble Guys, there ain't that much to say, guys, other than it is a manipulative rip-off. The microtransactions with this game are worse than they are with Fall Guys as well. It's very heavily based on the aesthetics and the costumes and all that kind of shit, and the unlockables to manipulate those young kids and the parents that are going to be paying a little bit of money for the extra content. And I had to pay £4, and I felt like a mug, but there's people probably doing that on a weekly basis. I just did it as a one-off for about 300 gamer score, I think. Bit ashamed, but I did it all for the achievement. I'm sure you'll understand. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, that was a quick, short blast of fun, Stumble Guys, and now we've got 3 other games that were very, very short indeed, and very fun indeed, all on the Xbox Series X, but this next game was natively released on the Xbox One. This was recommended to me by a friend of the channel, Nomad Overdrive, thank you very much, dude, and it is a game called Oxenfree, which was released in late 2015, early 2016, I do believe. And I don't think I'd ever heard of this at all, or I had and just forgot about it and didn't really know what it was about. And I actually wanted to know what the title was about as well. And at the moment, I'm watching one of my favourite Let's Players called Burning Dogface. Incredible name. He plays lots of different kinds of games, and there's tons of Let's Plays that I'm not interested in. But when he does something I am interested in, I will always watch him. And at the moment, he's playing the first Splinter Cell, released back in 2002. That game is getting a remake, ladies and gentlemen. I just cannot believe that Splinter Cell's getting a remake. That game, it doesn't fit in the modern day. It isn't a modern day game, and that makes me excited for it. I loved the old Splinter Cell games. Bloody hell, they were janky. They were trial and error, but they were fun. But watching modern gamers play that, what are they going to do? Oh, I'm going off on a tangent here, but I'm just intrigued, as I'm sure any of you guys are who played the old Splinter Cell games, how that's going to work in the modern day. Ubisoft, man, the one step down, are they, from EA? Bethesda these days, I don't know, they're all jostling. Oh shit, they are. But let's have a look. But why I'm mentioning Splinter Cell though is when he's playing the game, there's some hilariously voiced characters in Splinter Cell who speak English in Russian and Chinese accents, and one of them says "Ollie Ollie Oxenfree" in a playful, silly voice. And I was thinking, and I only realised this today as I'm watching him play the game, and I'm going to do this video, and I'm like, yeah, Oxenfree, what does it mean? And it says here, it's part of the phrase, all the oxen free. It's part of the game Hide and Seek, saying that one of the hiders have been found, and they are now the new it, and the game needs to be reset. And maybe, I don't know, you guys might be aware of that, but I totally didn't realise and didn't know. So I've been watching him play this for the last few days, And these characters say it when they find you, because obviously it's a stealth game, in a silly, playful voice, even though they're going to bloody kill you. And this game's called that. So, just a little cool story, right, bros? But anyway, Oxenfree is a graphic adventure game developed and published by Night School Studio, who, if I go into the page here, this is in cahoots. I think these guys are kind of sponsored by Netflix. Maybe at a time when Netflix were trying to make video games. How's that going, guys? Maybe they're making more, but I don't know. I doubt it. But here's the thing with this game, and I only realised this when finishing it. And maybe I can help you fellas out, or any ladies out there as well. Actually, no, there are no ladies. Last 28 days on my analytics, I had a look on my YouTube channel. 100% male. Who's surprised by that? But yeah, the sequel to Oxenfree, Oxenfree 2, which also got good reviews, not on the Series X. Because of this deal with Netflix, apparently. So if I want to play the sequel, I do believe I've got to play it on the PS5, which sucks ass when the original is on the Xbox One. Maybe one day it will come to the Series X, but whatever, we'll see. It says here the game is influenced by classic teen movies and coming-of-age shows. The directors wanted to create a story-driven game without cutscenes. There are no cutscenes. It's from a 2D perspective, ladies and gentlemen. A beautiful art style. And this game and the next two that I'm showing, they're not heavy on gameplay. Like, you can fail in a way with this game. There are different endings. I think there's like 3 or 4. And it's kind of... I don't want to give it away, but it's quite a complex game by the end, and it's the kind of game where you're wondering what is going to happen next, and you're wondering what the true ending is, and it's up to your interpretation, and it's a little bit vague and ambiguous, and I'm always down for stories like that. But oh my god, I don't want to give it away, so I'm not going to. I'm going to be quite brief with Oxenfree. But I was tearing what's left of my hair out with the ending that I got. You can get more endings, and just to let you guys know, it's kind of like The Walking Dead or Heavy Rain, where questions are asked of you by the other NPCs, or you can just decide to speak and say 3 things. The coloured, the one to the left on the Xbox will be X, for example, the X button. Top will be Y, and right will be B, and you can say different things. And there are different endings, thus you can dictate how the game ends, and the game will end very differently based on your decisions. I can assure you of that massively. You can't say, like for example with the Walking Dead games, it used to give you these decisions and then ultimately they meant nothing. But the only thing is with this game, there's a sequel. So have the devs decided that something was canon? I don't want to know, I'm just asking the question, not sure. But yeah, this lasted about 5 or 6 hours, lovely art style, good voice acting, very nice to look at. I'd come off, I think the last couple of games I'd played were heavy on the gameplay, so if you're looking for a chill game, then go for it. But what I will say is, this game may be chill, but it's got quite a dark, not so much dark tone. There is a little bit of a horror vibe there, and there's something quite unsettling about this game in a very nuanced way. And I think that's probably me praising the game, if you can bring that out of somebody. Whether it's not overtly obvious that it's like that, but it kind of is. And the ending left me feeling a bit melancholy as well, you know. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about Oxenfree. I enjoyed it, and one day I may well play the sequel. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, a game on the Xbox Series X, and how far into the video are we? 14 minutes. I want to keep this under 30 minutes. It's Somerville. You will be seeing a video of Somerville now. Well, you should be in the next few minutes. I don't know when I'm going to showcase the bits of video for you guys, but regardless, Somerville, just to let you guys know, adventure video game and the debut title by the independent studio Jump Ship. That's the dev's name. The studio, wait a minute, yeah, the developer's name. It's by Dino Patti, previously co-founder of Playdead, and he worked on Limbo and Inside. So when this game was showcased, or when any game that looks like Limbo and Inside, you know, next month Jeff Keighley's Game Fest and the rest of the pricks that are showing games next month, when I see a perspective like Limbo and Inside, I will say Limbo and Inside. It's like if you see a horror game, before the Evil Within was just shut down a few days ago, I'd be saying, oh, it's Evil Within 3. I do it as a meme, but sometimes, you know, it could be Somerville 2, it could be Playdead themselves, because apparently Playdead do have a game in the works, but it's not going to be 2D like Limbo and Inside. It's going to be a new perspective, and I'm intrigued to see how they can make another great game. Apparently it's sci-fi, which I'm down for. I'm happy with that, I guess, but it's been a long time. I hope it's not in development hell. I hope it still sees the light of day. But this game, ladies and gentlemen, was released, let's have a look here, November 2022. Came to Xbox first and only came to the PlayStation last August 2023. And this one, unlike Limbo and Inside, didn't get fantastic, amazing reviews. For me, Inside is the best. That game is weird and it's fun, and the aesthetic and the dystopia is just unbelievable. Absolutely love it. And there's a bit of that going on with Somerville. I would say the reasons that this game got worse reviews than Limbo Inside is because it's not fully 2D. You can walk towards the camera and away from it. The controls, they're a little bit janky to say the least. And yet again, just like Oxenfree, multiple endings here. But holy shit, don't worry, if you enjoyed the ambiguity of Limbo and Inside, wondering what the hell is going on, this game is not going to tell you jack shit, because with Oxenfree, you can actually hear the characters. With this game, there is no voice acting. The story is told by what you just plainly see, but the endings are very, very different. And I'll be honest with you guys, when the ending to this game dropped, when the credits happened, I was like, how the hell could I have known that I was dictating the ending? But you are. Maybe I'm dumb, I don't know. But I googled it and some other people weren't too thrilled with the ending as well. I got the bad ending, let's just say that. I don't really want to give the game away. I'm being very nice at the moment. Usually I just give spoilers for these games and just say, guys, I'm going to tell you spoilers, but I guess I'm not doing today. But there's a thing about 3 endings, and how you get them is very vague. You may not know what the hell's going on. There is some great articulation and YouTube videos out there in regards to the Somerville lore and story. It's interesting. You know, I think with all these games, Oxenfree I paid about £6 for it was on offer. Somerville, 12.5 quid. The next game, 12.5 quid. By default, these kind of games are 25 quid. And I remember in the 360 era, it was like, what was it, 800 Microsoft points or some shit. And that, I think it was about like a tenner, I want to say. Just over a tenner. And that's what I'm willing to pay for these games. 25 quid is a bit steep for a 5-6 hour experience without that much gameplay value. Maybe I shouldn't say that though. Every experience is different. With Somerville, I agree, it wasn't quite on the same level as Limbo and Inside. The ending was bizarre, but if you, like I said, if you like bizarre games and just wondering what on earth am I seeing here, you want a quick and fun experience. There's puzzles scattered around the game. The main aspect of this game, puzzle-wise, is you get this kind of electrical unit on your arm that allows you to solidify objects, so you can basically jump on them and create walls or obliterate walls, so you can make a path, and the game will many times have you turn water into a solid state so you can progress through the game. And then you see these 2 soldiers later in the game based on different colours, and yeah, it's weird. I like games like this because of the fact that they are different, but I don't think Somerville quite hit the mark like Limbo and Inside. Looking at the reviews, I've got a 45 out of 100 here. I've got a 2 out of 5, and I've got a 5 out of 5. There's many 7 out of 10s, and that's probably what it is. The sound design, fantastic, great sound design. Game looks nice, but just didn't quite hit the mark like Limbo Inside, and it'll be interesting to see what Playdead do themselves, and of course Dino Patti as well, his next project with Jumpship. Actually, come to think of it, I don't know if Jumpship have been like finished now, because on Wikipedia there's no hyperlink. You just don't know these days, do you? Studios are getting shut down left, right, and bloody centre. You do not know. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is actually quite ironic because the next game we're talking about, I'm sure these guys were binned off. I heard they were, or it was a big failure. I'm not sure. Well, it is a game that I think I reacted to last year at Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest, so one of the fests, and I was like, this looks like a game that I'll enjoy. It is Jusant, Jusant. And it says here, Jusant is a 2023 puzzle platform game developed and published by Don't Nod. That's the developer. They're a French studio. The player controls a lone wanderer as they climb a desolate tower filled with the artifacts of civilizations long past. The game was released for PlayStation 5 and Series X and PC 31st of October 2023, so it's a pretty damn new game. It received positive reviews from critics while later being claimed to have failed to met commercial expectations. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? Who's the publisher towards this? Who is the publisher? Because I remember reading about this. The publisher, it does say, is Don't Nod. So the developer and publisher are one and the same. Failed to meet commercial expectations. I mean, it's a beautiful looking game, but it's not a massive studio who made this. And if they're unhappy with expectations, you know, they're unhappy with themselves because the devs and the publishers are one and the same. But I don't know how many units they expected to sell. It's a very peculiar and unique niche game, this. And it says here, Jusant tasks a player with climbing to the top of a tower, which is split into different biomes, each with unique traversal mechanics and challenges. As the player ascends the tower, they will find more about the civilization that presided there. Yeah, and basically you place what's called a piton, which is like a little, I don't know what I call it, like a bit of metal so you don't fall down and die, basically. But that's the thing, you can't die with this game. You place the piton there, there's a midway checkpoint once you get to a level surface, and then 5-10 minutes later, boop, you're going up again. If you don't like the sound of that, this game probably isn't going to be for you. It's another 5 to 6 hour experience. The game looks very nice. Graphically, there's some rough edges, but the colour palette is very nice. You know, I'm very critical these days of games looking colourful just for the sake of it, but I think it totally works with this game. There are 6 chapters altogether. I think there's 6 chapters. And the first 3, I'll be honest with you guys, I was actually getting a bit stressed and annoyed because there's many times with this game you'll be rock climbing and it reminds me of like a baby's version of, what's it called, that Bennett Foddy game, Don't Fall. What's it called? And there's a new one, a difficult game about climbing. I would never in a million years play any of them. But this is like the baby version of that. And if this made me rage, you damn well know I'm not playing that bloody Bennett Foddy one. But there's no point in raging, is what I would say. And the second half of the game I enjoyed more than the first half. And it'll just basically introduce 2 or 3 new mechanics per chapter. One of them being the wind is going heavy in that direction. You need to go to that direction, so wait until the wind blows that way and then jump, and it'll push you along further in different directions, yada yada yada. There are these like little growths in the wall, but they're out in the sun, so they're there for a specific amount of time. They will disappear. If you're on one, when the sun's out, boom, it disappears and you fall down. So it was fun. This game got amazing reviews and I liked it. It is very, very light on the gameplay, but that seems to be where we are in 2024 with video gaming. Is it a post-gameplay world, ladies and gentlemen? I think it may well be. That's what I'm calling it. And I don't care if people think I'm talking shit, because I'm somewhat right, even if I'm not fully right. But yeah, let's have a look here. Jusant was developed and published by Don't Nod. Generally favourable reviews from critics, like 85 out of 100, 9 out of 10. It's got a lovely sound design, it says on Wikipedia here. Undoubtedly, there's no actual speech with this game. You press one button, you've got this little, looks like a Furby toy or some shit. and you put him on your head and he shows you where collectibles are, and the wind, like Ghost of Tsushima kind of like, the wind will tell you where you are meant to go with the game so you don't get lost. There are a few times where I felt like I was getting lost, but ultimately it's very linear and you won't get lost. But here it says in February 2024, oh my lord, le syndicat des travailleurs et travailleuses du jeu vidéo, that's right, claimed Jusant apparently failed to meet commercial expectations, with the production team being disbanded. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen, the production team being disbanded. But according to Don't Nod, the studio is still going. So what? The people who just worked on the game have been sacked? Is that what that's saying? Ouch. I mean, these guys have made Life is Strange 2, that vampire game, Life is Strange 1. I didn't realise that. A game called Remember Me. I remember seeing that cover. And they made 2 other games after Jusant, but they're a small studio. And it just goes to show you, you know, what's happened to Tango Gameworks. Critical acclaim is nowhere near as important as making the bucks. This industry is fucked. And no other game shows that, ladies and gentlemen, more so than the next game I'm talking about. One of my favourites of all time. It didn't need a remake, but I got it anyway because I'm a mug. But I'm hearing rumours, and this might finish me off. This might get me doing crochet or some shit, doing another hobby. I don't know, but it might get me off gaming. A game that I totally didn't like, but that is besides the point. If this happens, this rumour that I'm hearing happens, it is setting a new precedent. And everyone needs to be up in arms about it. By the way, the game that I bought, it's on the list, it's The Last of Us Part 1. We'll speak about it in a minute, but I'm hearing about Horizon Zero Dawn. The game's 7 fucking years old, ladies and gentlemen, and it wasn't that good, in my opinion. I played it, I dropped it when I had like 17 side quests. A remake of that game, anything about that game doesn't make sense. A lot of people seem to like the sequel less. I have a feeling there's going to be a Ghost of Tsushima 2 announced next month. I enjoyed Ghost of Tsushima, and people said it's very repetitive. Open world games are repetitive, dude. Open world games aren't more replayable than linear games. Why do people think they are? Fucking hell. Get good at linear games. That's what it's about. I don't know. People see it differently, but people could say the complete opposite, the adored. Horizon Zero Dawn, hated Ghost of Tsushima. For me, it was the opposite. I love Ghost of Tsushima. I'll definitely be interested in the sequel, but I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't do as well. And remember what your boy Alexander Hilly said. A lot of these sequels in recent years, like Dying Light 2, Horizon Zero Dawn 2, God of War Ragnarok, which I will eventually pick up, it might be on the next pickups video, it got good reviews, but if you look on Reddit, good old Reddit, and in many other places, people were not as impressed with the sequels. So yeah, but Horizon Zero Dawn can't be remade. That will finish me off. As for The Last of Us remake, not necessary. Everything in the remake looks dirtier. Obviously, I uploaded my first playthrough of the game on the channel. It did absolutely terribly. No one watched it. But I had fun. I replay The Last of Us once every 6 months. It's like a wholly religious experience. I do prefer it to the sequel because I think the pacing of the game is better. I think the narrative is better. And I think, although the gameplay of the first game is very simple by today's standards, whatever that means, it's what it needs to be. And it's a great experience. It's an amazing game. And it's one of the best of all time. And I don't care if people call it overrated. Whereas the second game, narrative, story, pacing, all not what it should have been. Fuck Neil Druckmann, he's an idiot. Just because of the way that he is as a human being, you can just tell and do your research. The guy's an asshole. But gameplay-wise, in game world, Last of Us 2, fantastic. Never going to bring it to the channel, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen. If you were looking forward to that, I doubt anyone was. But after the first game bombed, I've got to be careful now. I can't just upload any project. But Last of Us Part 1 wasn't needed. Some aspects of the game, I think I might prefer the remaster from 2014. The game is a little bit more kind of bright and colourful when it needs to be in certain areas. Everything looks filthy with a remake, which with this kind of post-apocalypse world kind of makes sense. But yeah, everyone looks like they've just smeared mud over them. And what is this with making Joel look about 70 odd? The guy's 48 in the game. In the remake, he looks about 70. No, I'm not buying it. He's 48. Fucking hell. I was just thinking about it. Like, he was born in 1984 when shit went down. It was 2013, I think. Yeah, he was born in 1984, so he's bloody a millennial. Christ, unbelievable. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to go too in depth with Last of Us Part 1. There are certain minute aspects of the game I preferred the remaster, but I'll still be playing it once every 6 months, and yeah, it's an amazing game. So I finally got Last of Us Part 1, and that's that. So next up on the channel, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a Stone Temple Pilots, the music band, the rock band from the 90s, worst to best, Mr. Scott Weiland, R.I.P. It's just going to be the Scott Weiland era. I can't be arsed doing anything post Weiland. And then after that, it's going to be all the goings on with Jeff Keighley, Microsoft and Sony. Still don't know when Sony's are going to be, the stubborn bastards, but we'll react to that shit. And then later in mid-late June, we're going to go back to Resident Evil as Chris Redfield. I've cancelled, by the way, the Evil Within project that I had celebrating the 10-year anniversary. What's there to celebrate now? Fuck all. But I'll still do 1 or 2 videos for the game, just because I love it, and just because it deserved more than it got when it came out. And for me, I'll use the word masterpiece because I feel like it, even though there is some technical issues with that game. Yeah. But I'm a bit downtrodden, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to YouTube at the moment. Something is going on. People are talking of comments being deleted, but not only that, views are being taken away. Some of my videos now have got like 4 or 5 likes and 1 or 2 views. Something doesn't add up. They've changed the way that you get a view. It no longer counts as a view if someone watches your video for like 10-20 seconds or whatever it used to, but now you've got to watch the whole damn video. Well, that's not going to happen in the ADHD Zoomer culture, is it? But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. That's not for you, that's for YouTube, that's for the gaming industry. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.